Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to give you a weekly bonus and something to think about. And it has to do with a simple question. What is worse, sun damage or water damage? I just want you to think about that for just a second. It depends. Depends upon the environment, where you're building, a lot of factors. But I can tell you the worst side of the house for damage is typically on the southern side of a house. That's where your sun really beats down. If you're building in a hot desert climate, or even if, it doesn't even matter, even if you get some good southern exposure on the side of a house, that's going to get a lot of UV damage, a lot of sun damage, weathering on paint, weathering on just about everything. Over on this side of the house here, I was inspecting with a client. This is a relatively new home. And on the southern side of the house here, you have extreme contraction and expansion of the frame structure, which is affecting the windows, and you'll see cracking, you'll see separation of the window from the stucco. Again, all because this heat, the extreme temperatures, fluctuations, hot and cold, you'll see that kind of damage on the southern side of the home. You won't see that on the north side of the home, but you will see that on the southern side of the home. A couple of things you can do to alleviate that is to plant some trees here. It used to be, before air conditioning was created, that we would plant large shade trees, again, that were deep rooted. They weren't shallow, but they would have a nice taproot, maybe an oak or something, or an ash, and they would plant them along the side of the house on the southern side of the house. That would create shade during the summertime, help keep the home cool, and again actually protect that home from weathering. I grew up in a large bed and breakfast place up north, and there's a large linden tree on the south side of that property. Well, the paint and the stucco and everything on the south side of the property is still in great shape because that large tree was planted. Sometime I'll do a report on that when I'm up that way again. But that tree protects that home, keeps it cool in the summer, and keeps the weathering off of it during all kinds of inclement weather. So think about the southern side of your house. Can you plant trees? Can you create more of an eave structure? Maybe even orient the house in just a little way so it doesn't get so pulverized with the heat damage on that home. I will continue to look around at homes that are just relatively new, and some of the things that you can see happening to homes, even if they're just a few years old. And if you have a little proactive landscaping, proactive in design, you can actually alleviate some of that weathering and wear and tear. It doesn't have to happen that quick on homes that are relatively new. Just forethought and knowing in advance. Okay, that's water. Okay, that's sun. You can see I'm not even wearing my sunglasses, how bright it is out here. And even on a cool winter day, all right, it's still warm out here. That wall is really hot, really warm. Something else to think about. They've got the electrical panel down there, and it's inside of a bedroom. All right. If you put electrical panels, and I harp on this a lot, if you put electrical panels on the outside of a wall where you have living space, you're not going to have any insulation on that home. I had a client call me years and years ago, and he was really concerned with the house that he bought. And I walked in the house, and I felt the drywall on the inside, and I go, it's really hot here. Really hot, because you've got the western sky or western sun hitting on that wall. That's because they put the electrical panel on the outside wall of a living space where you had very little insulation. And that electrical panel, that is metal, a good conductor, and it's conducting that right into the home. So always take your electrical panel, put it on the exterior wall where you don't have any living space, typically right off the garage if you can. I got a lot of things you can do if you just have a little forethought and study, and I will keep these posts coming where I can kind of educate you on how best to orient your house, how to avoid some of the wear and tear, and maybe some landscaping tips, some eave tips, stuff like that. This is Keith Kelch giving you my best on how to build your own home.